Welcome to this video on the recent UFC news from a press conference, I believe for UFC 306. Michael Chandler will be facing Charles Oliveira next. Obviously has been waiting for the Conor Mcgregor fight for 2 years at this point, but will now be facing Charles Oliveira at least before he fights Conor McGregor. Going to go into what Conor McGregor has said on Twitter after this has been announced, but just getting into the sort of start of it was a press conference with Dana White. Dana White sat there taking questions from journalists in the crowd and MMA news sites, journalists, and someone was asking about Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, who's next and things, and it sort of probably slipped out of Dana White that, look, and basically the journalist was only asking, okay, so Conor and Chandler are fighting next, yeah, and then went to try to go on to, so after that, what is Conor McGregor's next step, what's his next fight, or what's Chandler's next fight? And then he just went, no, he's not fighting Conor next. And it was like, whoa, okay, that's big news to just turn out in a press conference that easily. And literally, I think it was minutes after this press conference, confirmation that of the news we've got now is Oliveira will be facing Charles Oliveira will be facing Michael Chandler next at UFC 309. So I believe that's, November time. And basically the confirmation is that, and likelihood will, them two will fight, and then McGregor has to find a new opponent. I don't see, Chandler could face him still, and that's not off the table, but is not. I wouldn't say it's likely. I think he has to win that fight to get the McGregor opportunity, to be honest. But I think he's just fed up with waiting. I think that's what Dana White said. I'm not surprised. He's not sure when McGregor will be getting back in that cage, if he ever will. And look, you only have a few fights at 38, or I think Chandler's 38. You only have a few fights left. If one or two, and maybe at that top level, he doesn't have much left really of like the career. He's at the back end of his career. He needs to really push on and get a few top level fights, get that money in before he retires, or in a sense goes off that top level. And if McGregor could wait another 2 years, it doesn't matter for McGregor. There is no poignance to actually getting in that ring. He has enough money outside of fighting, where actually if he wants to take 4 years, that'll take Chandler out of his, it take him to 40. Is he really going to be fighting at top level at 40? Of course he's not. So I think it's just that time where Chandler's wasted 2 years and he's had enough now. He knows the Conor McGregor fight, I don't think, is ever going to come for him. Or it's just so uncertain with what's been going on with McGregor. He has to move on and move out and get in Oliveira. Good fight. Co-main event, he'll be getting paid well. Obviously not nowhere near as well as a Conor McGregor fight, but he's going to get paid well. And gives him the opportunity to, after that fight, take another 2 fights at least in before 40, and then can see where he's at. Conor McGregor, I think, very quickly after this announcement is put on Twitter a little post, but basically slating it. Definitely not happy. I won't read it all out, to be honest. Basically saying, get him his date for a fight. He's been tested earlier today, so yesterday this would have been, and he's saying, give me my date. So it's the thing of, will Conor McGregor fight Chandler? I think he won't. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think Chandler wins it. He ain't going to fight Chandler. And that's the thing. Who does he fight now? Who's the fight? When does it get made? I think it's tough. Does Conor McGregor actually come back? I don't think he comes against Chandler. If Chandler has asked for this, and that's what it sounds like, is like, I'm not waiting any longer, give me a fight. I don't think Conor McGregor actually fights him. I think out of the thing of, look, I gave you this opportunity to get this massive amount of money for fighting me. You have a fight, and whatever the outcome, you want to fight me again. No. You don't get the double. You don't get to fight Charles Oliveira and make me wait now. I'm going to fight whoever I want to. I'm the main man and bring the most money. I bring so much more money on that side than Chandler does. I pick, if I've said, we did the ultimate fight. If I've said, look, we've had a problem and Chandler's not willing to wait, that's his problem. He's not getting the payday. So I don't expect Chandler to actually get the fight after this Oliveira fight. Do I expect Conor McGregor to get back in that cage? To be honest, it's really concerning. I mean, I had concerns before, and I think I voiced them before, that McGregor actually getting back in that cage is unlikely. I don't see how. He clearly wants to, but the lifestyle the things we see online, the lifestyle, he's not. That injury may have stopped it, and maybe the UFC is being awkward and all that, but if you really wanted to fight, there are many opportunities for you to fight. The UFC ain't going to turn you down to fight. The problem is they'll want you to sign a new contract, they'll want you to do other things, they'll want to delay you, but the honest fact is, look, you can't get angry at Michael Chandler for waiting 2 years for a fight. That's never happening. It took so long for there to be a fight camp, and then you got an injury, which is fair enough, you got an injury, but it took so long to get to that point. He's already wasted a massive amount of that end of his career, and he's aging. Chandler is what, 38 now. McGregor is 36. These guys haven't got long. And McGregor, how he's been, living currently, he has been training for the fight, broke his, toe. But he's just going through his Twitter. He's serving drinks in a bar. Before this Chandler camp, when he broke his toe, he's drinking massively. You see he's on nights out and things. It's just not, and some of the interviews back then even was not good. They weren't good signs. Do I think McGregor get back in that cage? I don't think so. I don't think it's in the UFC cage, at least. And he may do boxing. Boxing could be an avenue. Turkey Al-Sheikh may provide some money for a McGregor-Pacquiao fight. That could happen, I think. Because that's sort of rooming around a bit more again. But I do think it's not just McGregor's fault. I think it is McGregor's fault for the testing and things like that. After the leg break, the testing wasn't forthcoming. He had to be in there for a while to get that testing sorted. He broke his toe. That's not his fault, but it's just one of them things. I don't think the UFC's helping. From what McGregor's saying, McGregor is not happy with the UFC. Him and Dana were pretty much best of friends when he was at the top of his game, making the UFC so much money. And Dana White and the UFC, in a sense, was allowing him to do whatever he wants. Mayweather, you want to fight there? Yeah, sure, go for it. And now it just seems total opposite, where they're just such at loggerheads, it's not helping bring a fight together. So I think it's a bit on both sides, but I think McGregor's not helped himself at all. And I'm talking, you haven't helped yourself with your health. You're testing, you haven't been in the pool enough. That was a big problem. You broke your toe, which is no one's fault, but that delays it as well. It's just there's been many factors that just don't help the McGregor situation that's happening now. And I think there's just such a rift now after this happening, where the UFC's allowed this to happen and not really provided a new opponent, it sounds like, to McGregor, going, look, this is your date, this is your new opponent, are you happy? Why is he going to get back in the ring? He's not going to get back in the ring unless he's happy. He is the main event, he is the star. People will buy the pay-per-view mainly to see Conor McGregor. I don't see him being happy enough to take a fight now. Is there an opponent there that he actually has real heart with that'll actually take a fight? Islam Makhachev would be a big one, but he's not going to take that because he's going to get mauled. Chandler was probably a good enough level to go, yeah, there's interest there to see if he could win it. But now, do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I think it's just too difficult for the two UFC, another fighter and McGregor to come to an agreement on timing, on, he's making enough money now. He has other interests outside of UFC, which these other fighters don't really have. I think it's too hard to bring everyone to the table and agree. And that's just my thought. I think Conor McGregor's, the end of his career will be known as the time when everyone thought he would fight again. And he didn't. And that's just a bit of legacy that's really hurting, especially McGregor fans that, like myself, I'd like to see McGregor fight. He was a massive star. The fights you remember, Jose Aldo, Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez being an amazing clinic of a fight that just showed how good he was. And really getting to the end of his career like this is really sad to see. And yeah, I think you'll look back and go, this could have been, the days of, really just stamping the end of his career and saying goodbye to the UFC fans that have supported him throughout his career. And it's not going to be. I think it's going to go out with everyone getting hyped up for a fight and going, yeah, at least one more time, and it just never turns around. I already had concerns anyway after the leg break that he's never going to come back again, because that injury is so severe and no one's really came back properly from it that other UFC fighters have when they've had similar. And yeah, I think this is the whimper that McGregor's career goes out on, especially in the UFC. I think could do a boxing fight, but overall the UFC career, I do believe, is probably over at this point. It's too hard to get the guys to the table, and in a sense, he's 36. You're getting so close, especially with a leg break and things like that. It's just going to be too hard to get a position that actually works for everyone. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.